everyone. My name is Kaylee, and I'm a prospective student recruiter and advisor for the Faculty of Business. Thank you all for joining me today for this Business Registration 101 workshop for incoming high school students to the Bachelor of Commerce program. I would like to start this session by saying that the University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory, and we respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. Today we will start the workshop off with a presentation on what your next steps are as a U of A student, planning your degree, and tips and tricks on how to build your schedule. The second part of this workshop will then be a registration demo on BearTracks. So everyone here has submitted their application and most of you have already received an offer of admission. Congratulations! But there are still a few more steps you need to take to become an official U of A student. You will need to accept your offer of admission and pay your non-refundable tuition deposit before you are able to access the schedule builder and enroll in your courses. If you have not already done so, you will want to make sure you complete these steps as soon as possible and always a few business days before your enrollment date. To find your enrollment date, please go to BearTracks, and under the Manage Classes tile on the left side of the screen, there will be a menu item titled My Enrollment Date. Now, before I show you how to build your first year timetable in BearTracks, let's talk briefly about planning your degree. On the screen here is a visual representation of how an undergraduate degree works. Just something to note in case you're not super familiar with university language, an undergraduate degree is the same thing as a bachelor's degree. So you will see on your transcript Bachelor of Commerce, which is an undergraduate degree. It is possible to graduate from most bachelor's programs after 4 years if you opt for a full course load as shown on the screen. However, don't worry if that's not your plan. Many students nowadays choose to spread out their studies over a longer period of time or take some spring and summer classes to allow themselves some more flexibility for part-time jobs, for joining clubs or getting involved on campus, or just to volunteer and spend time with your friends for social events. However you decide to spread out your studies, you will obviously still be able to complete an undergraduate degree. Now, most degrees, including yours, are going to require the completion of 120 credits. And the star or the asterisk is how we denote how many credits there are. If you're on the 4-year plan, this means that you will be taking 5 classes, which is equal to 15 credits a semester, for a total of 10 classes or 30 credits per 1 academic year. Half-year classes, which is the majority of the classes you will take as a business student, are only 3 credits, which means that they run from either September to December or January to April. If you do come across some full-year classes, these will be worth 6 credits and will run all the way from September to April. If you come across these full-year classes, it will probably be for an elective class rather than any of your business classes. Let's talk more now about how to understand your program requirements. Your Bachelor of Commerce degree consists of 4 main sections, and these are core classes, electives, your major, and your minor, if you choose to do one. Please make sure you check out the online calendar at uab.ca/calendar to look up the requirements for your specific route within the program. For students entering into specific faculties like business, you will have access to the academic requirements section of BearTracks, which will assist you in building your degree plan. The Faculty of Business will email you with further details regarding this feature if applicable. So what are these 4 main sections? Primary core courses are required for all BCom students. You will take these classes in your 2nd year. You will essentially take 1 class in each of the different subject areas, which should help you decide which major is right for you and broaden your knowledge of business in general. Secondary core courses will vary slightly by major, but the majority are the same for everyone and will be taken in your third year as a progression of your recently acquired knowledge. Electives outside of business are any course that are offered by the University of Alberta in any faculty other than business. You may also be interested in completing a minor for your degree. A minor is another subject area that you are interested in that you focus some of your electives on in order to achieve it. You are able to do a minor in another area of business or a minor offered by a different faculty, like the Faculty of Arts. The good news is that all of you are entering year one, which is the foundational year of the business program. Your program requirements are quite strict, so if you follow the schedule set out here on the screen, you will be set to continue on into your second year without any issues. So in your first year of the BCom program, please be sure to register in the following classes. You can choose one 100 level English or one 100 level writing studies course to fulfill your English requirement. You will also enroll in Business 101, Interdisciplinary or Inter-D 101, as well as Micro and Macroeconomics, Calculus, and Statistics. You then have the option to pick 3 additional classes that are outside of the Faculty of Business to fulfill your elective requirements. So for building your class timetable, beyond the overarching things to consider when planning your degree, there are also some considerations to think of when you're planning your specific timetable for each semester. So here are some timetabling tips that we'll go over. Think about what prerequisite classes you might need to take, because it's always important to register in these classes first, as they are required for you to then enroll in the higher level classes. In your first year, like I mentioned on the previous slide, you are required to complete micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics, which is Econ 101, is a prerequisite for macroeconomics, which is Econ 102. In this case, you will want to take Econ 101 in first semester in order to fulfill the prerequisite for Econ 102 in second semester. Another thing to consider is which classes have the fewest offerings. If you have a class that only is offered twice a week versus a class that is offered 5 times a week, you're going to want to enroll in the class with the fewer offerings first. This way, you can make sure that you secure your spot there first and have more flexibility with the others. Also think about if you need to allow time to commute to campus. Are you driving and want to avoid rush hour? You might want to avoid the 8 a.m. classes then. Or are you living on residence and can get to your classes with ease? You'll also want to think about whether or not you're a morning person or if you hit the snooze button. Having an 8 a.m. class also means that you will have 8 a.m. midterms, so be sure to keep this in mind when you're planning your schedule. On a final note, you'll want to make sure you're registering in classes at the right campus. If you come across any course that starts with AU, please do not enroll in this class as this is offered at our Augustana campus in Camrose. As well, if you find courses where the code looks like it might be spelled incorrectly, it might actually just be in French. If the class notes are also in French, this is a French language class. So this might not be the best class for you, and always check the language of instruction. So by now you are familiar with Launchpad, which is our admission system. However, for course registration, you will be using BearTracks. BearTracks is an online portal which gives you access to almost everything involved in your university career. The academic section in BearTracks, which we will focus on today, allows you to search for classes, build and plan a timetable, enroll in your classes, as well as add, drop, and swap them. Once you become a future Golden Bear or Panda, BearTracks is where you will also go to check your grades, pay your tuition, and much, much more. You can get access to BearTracks by using your CCID and password and by visiting uab.ca/BearTracks. Before we begin with the registration demo, let's briefly go over some timetabling basics. as there are different types of classes in university. These 3 different types or components of classes are known as lectures, labs, and seminars. So a lecture is probably what you're familiar with seeing in a TV show or a movie where a professor is speaking to a specific topic for the duration of the class to a large group of students in a lecture hall. The majority of your classes, if not all of them, I guarantee they will have a lecture. Now, a lab is a hands-on component of a course that's perhaps not as popular in our Faculty of Business as it would be for other faculties like science. A seminar is a class based on discussion, project work, or shared assignments, and is typically in a much smaller setting with either a teaching assistant or a PhD student leading the class. In your first year, you may encounter a lab that's associated with your statistics class or your math class for calculus, and you might not come across a seminar class until later on in your degree. Now let's jump right into the registration demo. You've heard some great tips and tricks on building your timetable, so let's actually enroll in classes. To find which courses you are required to take, please consult the tip sheet that has been created for you by the Faculty of Business at uab.ca/regtips or refer to the university calendar at uab.ca/calendar. The first step for you will be to log into BearTracks by going to uab.ca/BearTracks. Once you make it to the page that looks similar to what you see on the screen, please select the single sign-on option. At this point, you will be prompted to enter your CCID and your password and then sign in. This will then bring you to your BearTracks homepage, which will look similar to what you now see on the slide. The tools we will be using today can all be found in the Manage Classes section in the top left-hand corner. Let's talk now about the planning features that can be used to help you create your schedule. There are 2 different ways to search for classes. One is the Browse Course Catalog function, and the second is the Search for Classes function. The Browse Course Catalog function offers information on every course at the university and is very similar to the course listing section in the university calendar. You would use this function if you knew that you needed to take a math class, but you just weren't sure which one was best for you. The Browse Course Catalog feature is great in providing descriptions for each and every course. You would start off by selecting Browse Course Catalog on the left-hand sidebar and use the keyword search to then search for math. You can click search and you will then be offered a list of search results that include the keyword math. You can also narrow down the search criteria by selecting other parameters, maybe the department of the course or whether the course is graduate or undergraduate on the left-hand sidebar as well. If you find a course that interests you, such as Math 100, as you can see on the screen, you can add it to your planner. Your planner, which you can also access in the main menu, is a way for you to save courses that you think are interesting and that you may want to take in the future. Think of the planner feature as similar to a Pinterest board. The second function we'll look at today is the other way to search for classes by using the Search for Classes feature. On the left-hand sidebar, please click on Class Search and Enroll and choose the term in which you are interested in. In this case, it will probably be Fall Term 2022. You would use this function if you knew exactly what class you were interested in and you wanted to see when it was going to be offered. In this example, we'll search for an English class by using the keyword search. And we can see now that 9 results have been returned with the keyword ENGL, which is the course code for English. If we click on our desired class, we will be given a list of class options. and every time that this class is going to be offered. You can also see if this class is going to be offered online or on main campus and how many seats are still left open. You'll see here that you actually have two options as to what to do next. One would be the enroll option and one would be the cart option. You can think of your shopping cart quite literally as what you would use in the grocery store, and it's where you put classes in that you're interested in and you want to make sure that they will all work well together before actually enrolling, which is kind of like checking out at the grocery store. If you're in a hurry though, and you know that this class is going to work with your schedule, you can absolutely go ahead and just enroll right away. So this is what your shopping cart actually looks like and can be found again on the left-hand sidebar. You can see here that we were able to add English 102 to our shopping cart, and this is a great way to prepare a draft schedule for yourself and prepare ahead of your enrollment date. You can look at a calendar view of the classes in your shopping cart by clicking Open Your Draft Schedule in a new tab, which can be found on this page. And will look something like this. This is actually an accurate representation of what your first year in the business program will look like. You can see that we have 5 classes in the fall term, and technically we have 5 classes in the winter term. One of them doesn't appear on the screen though because it is being offered online and asynchronously, so it's not actually in the schedule. You can see that we've got all of the required classes in here, such as English and economics and calculus, as well as some electives like religion and media studies. Let's move on now to actually adding the classes you want to your enrollment. There are 3 steps to doing this when you enroll in classes via the shopping cart function. The first is to select the class you're interested in, then validate it, and then actually enroll in it. If we are looking at our shopping cart, we would select English 102 with the little box under Select column, and then click Validate. The Validate function is going to ensure that you don't have any timetable conflicts with other classes and that you are actually allowed to take this class based on the prerequisites that are required. Then you can move on to actually enrolling in the class. When you click on the enroll button, you will be asked, are you sure you want to enroll? And you can go ahead and click yes. As soon as you get the green check mark that says this class has been added to your schedule, you are good to go. And you have been successfully enrolled. Now, we talked previously about the different components of a class. So many of you, if you come across, for example, statistics or calculus that may have a lecture and a lab, there will be multiple components that you need to enroll in. So let's go over that quickly. We found the class that we want via the class search option, and we've come to its information page. You can see here under the class column that there is a lecture and a lab. And then you can see under the days and times options when they are being offered. The lecture is 3 times a week for 50 minutes, whereas the lab is only once a week for 50 minutes. You'll need to make sure that both of these times, the lecture and the lab, work with your schedule, which is why I would recommend, again, using the shopping cart option so that BearTracks can validate this correctly for you and make sure that there are no conflicts. If you want to enroll in the class, be sure to select both the lab and the lecture components, click Enroll, and then review and submit your request. There are a few additional features that can be helpful that I'll make you aware of in BearTracks. The first is the Drop a Class feature. So a Drop a Class feature can be used when you want to remove a class that you have already enrolled in from your schedule. You can drop a class from your schedule without financial or academic penalty until the fall registration deadline of September 15th, 2022. If you want to go and drop a class, you will visit the Drop Classes function again on the left sidebar and select the term from which you want to drop the class. This will bring you to a list of important instructions, and I highly recommend that you read through them. You'll then be prompted to select the class you would like to drop. In this case, it is the English 102 class that we looked at previously, and be sure to select the selection box and then press Next. You'll then be brought to the review of the classes you want to drop, and you'll need to insert a withdrawal reason. You can then submit this form, and you'll be prompted to then have your class dropped. The other additional features I'll go over are the swap classes and watch list features. The swap class function is found under Manage Classes, which is the tile on the main screen, and then on the left-hand side bar, Swap Classes. If you have currently enrolled in a course, but there's something that you've been waiting for that you would rather be in and it comes available, the swap feature is for you. It allows you to swap one class for the other. However, if you can then not get into the new class, it won't give up your spot in the old one. The watch list is a feature to use when the class you want to get into is full. There's no seats left. When you sign up for a class on the watch list, it will send you notifications to your email and also to your phone if you want when seats open up so that you can log in quickly and enroll. After enrolling, you can return to the BearTracks homepage and select Manage Classes, and then select My Schedule/Calendar to review your enrollments. Again, for those of you that are curious, this is what a full course schedule looks like. As you can see, there are only 9 on the screen, but that's because the 10th course, InterD 101, is missing because it's asynchronous. Speaking of InterD 101, this is a new class that is being offered for the first time in the fall semester. Students will engage with impactful leaders from many backgrounds who have made a positive contribution to our community and to the world. By the end of the course, students will be able to visualize their potential for leadership growth and be inspired to continue their journey to take action. This class is actually open to all students, so if you have friends in other faculties, please encourage them to take this class with you. So I hope that I've been able to provide you with a good base of information today, but there has also been a lot of information to take in. You can always visit all of the content that we covered today on our Registration 101 website at uab.ca/reg101. On this webpage are helpful videos on how to use the different functions of BearTracks, as well as the tip sheets, which will go over all of the required classes for your first year, as well as planning for your entire BCom degree. So just a few reminders. For many of you, the registration for fall and winter semester courses did open on April 4th. Please log in and try to enroll as soon as possible, as some classes do fill up quickly. If you are interested in living in residence in your first year, please apply by April 30th for a guaranteed spot in residence for your first year at the University of Alberta. You should also mark off in your calendar August 27th to the 31st, as well as September 1st for your first year orientation, week of welcome, as well as your first day of classes. I'm so excited that all of you have chosen the University of Alberta for your future endeavors in academics and to pursue your degree, and I'm really happy to see you in September. If you need any more help, please book an advising appointment with us at uab.ca/advising, or you can send us an email directly at bcominfo@ualberta.ca.